Okay.
Hi,
Here
welcome,
we
everybody.
Hello, hello. I'm really impressed at how many people signed up for a December 19th webinar. So kudos to you guys. I mean, I think it becomes one of those things towards the end of the year. It's like either you're just out of the office and you're gone, or it's quieter so you can come to these.
Exactly.
Yeah. We had actually a great sign up. And a lot of you have joined us, and several of you have even commented to me that, oh, you did something similar last year. And it was so helpful that I'm going to it again. And we try to make these a little different year after year because this is kind of our big one. We like to launch into the new year with some really great ideas. And I think we've done a good job, Jordan. We got some constant reminders that we keep saying, and we've got some new stuff that you really need to take time and think about and process through. So once again, we've recorded this webinar. We are going to have that out on our support site within 24 hours. We'll also send out the recording after the webinar. You all get emailed it as well. There is the Q&A box that comes with Zoom webinar. It's not the chat, so use the Q&A for any questions, any comments you want to make. This is really going to be kind of a chill webinar where it's a great opportunity for you to like share some things like what you're proud of that you've accomplished this year with your website, what you're wanting to do in the next year. So we all learn so much from each other. As staff, we learn from you guys learn from each other. So that's why we do these webinars, because it's just such a great opportunity to kind of share and learn together. So again, thank you all for attending, and we got some good strategies. Go ahead, Jordan. She's gonna run our screen for a bit. Once again on the webinar, just kind of our staff here. Jordan and I are doing the presenting. Christina isn't able to join us today, but we've got Chrissy from the account management team, and we have Brian. Brian, this is always when I say, hey, Brian, come say hi to everyone. He is our lead sales rep. So Brian, take it away for a second.
Hello, everyone. Don't have much to say, except if you do know anyone or any partner agencies that are doing any end of year spending for their budgets that are remaining, have them connect with me. I'm going to be here the rest of the year.
Yes. All right. Thank you. Yes. And then for many of you, it's not only your other organizations of similar type, the ones you work with. If you hopefully have loved working with us and what we do work with for-profits also, but of course we love working with our nonprofit. All right, here is our agenda for today. We got our know your audience questions, a couple poll questions for you. Just trying to find out where you guys are all at and what you're doing. Some did you knows, these are like those little cool tricks and tips and things that you might not be aware of. And then we're really gonna dive into time on our digital tool guide. It's our, I'm losing the words. Jordan, what's the word I'm looking for?
Turnover?
Yes, that is the word I'm looking for. Like our turnover kit, we also have a whole checklist of must-dos, things that we want to make sure you guys are all doing because they're super important. So that's part of our end of year reminders with your checklist, and then we'll wrap it up in the end. So should be pretty concise today. Go ahead and let's do some, oh, that's my poll question. So here we go. Got 3 questions on today's poll, and so you have to scroll down to get them all. First question, Google Analytics. How often do you check that? Have you checked it recently? Do you even know what it is? So let us know. So this is a chance for you to look at your screen, answer these questions. So the first question is your Google Analytics. What do you do there? Your next one is about a turnover guide. And if you don't know what that is, that's some kind of packet booklet or document that you have that you would give to someone coming into your job. It has probably how to access your DNS, how to log into the site, who to contact, payment processors, all that good stuff will be going into that some more. So let us know where you stand in the turnover guide. And then my last question in there is about the rotor, because this is one of my things, like, especially this time of year, we're going to the holiday. Schedule your rotor, have an out of office message, or where offices are closed for the holidays or whatever they are. Schedule it to open and close. You don't want to have to pay attention to that. So when's the last time you changed your voter? I love that some people have changed it today. So that's kind of cool. So I'm watching these pop in. Most of you are almost through all the questions. So let's see how we do this. Give you like another second here and we'll share the results. This was a good poll because you guys are not, you're all over the place. There is not a consistent, like everyone gave the same answer. All
And
right.
I see that while we give everyone just one more second, Aaron, I see your comment in the Q&A. Technology turnover guide is a new phrase. We're excited to talk to you more about that today. So you'll definitely hear more about that, and we'll get you some resources to set that up if you don't already have one.
That's very true.
And Kimberly,
All right.
where do we answer? There should be a poll that's just popped up in the middle of your screen that you're looking at that's got the questions in there. You can scroll down and answer right on that little pop-up poll.
And I think it's possible if you have pop-up blockers that maybe you wouldn't see it, but I have almost everyone's filled it out. So it looks like we've had good results. I'm going to go ahead and end the poll and share it. Sorry, Kimberly, that you missed out on the poll, but hopefully you'll see these results that pop up. So here we go. I'm going to share the results. How often do you check Google Analytics? Well, so the highest one was the never, 27% never. I don't know how to access it. So good to know. We'll talk a bit about that. But yeah, you guys are everywhere, including I don't know what Google Analytics is. So we are going to talk to you about that because that is super important. And just as a quick what Google Analytics is, it's your traffic statistics. How many times are people coming to your website? Where are they coming to your website from? What are the top pages they're looking at? All of that. That's data that is super valuable to you. Lots of times boards like to get a report at board meetings and stuff. So we'll talk some more about Google Analytics. And those of you who are really good at it, if you want to share what your practice is, you can put that in the question and answer, and we're happy to share what you all are doing. Turnover guide. So we are going to talk more about the technology turnover guide. We show that 62% of you don't have one, but would like it. So you're in the right place. We're definitely going to talk about, some of you have notes on paper. So have you been that person that comes into the job and like, there's nothing? You're like, I don't know how to get into our bank account. I don't know how to access our website. I don't know where this is. Yeah, you don't want that to happen to you. You so don't have it happen to someone else. So we will we'll talk about what that will look like. And then last time you changed your rotor, 2 of you said today, so good job. And then we have some that just never change it or it's been a really long time. So we're going to kind of hone in on that checklist of things that we think is worthwhile. Includes that primary piece of real estate on your homepage called the rotor. Now, a few of you have designs that don't rotate. So if you don't have a rotor, you at least have a top main picture. You got to change that up. If that never changes, it's the stock one you got when you got your site. There's a tendency for people who do come back to go, they're just not updating it because they see, if they start to recognize that that's just not changing. So we do want to make sure that that's something that everyone's making a point of doing and is very aware of. So thanks for answering the questions. I thought those were some really good widespread results there. Okay, so we have some, next we have some did you knows? And these are some things we're going to cover a little bit more today as well. So it is 2024 and people are, let's see, they like to do lawsuits and sue people over the darndest things. And you guys want to be in compliance as much as possible. So I know you've heard about stuff like this, but we as your website company want to remind you that you have you need to be aware of like making sure your privacy laws, your privacy policy is listed on your website somewhere so that nobody can say that you haven't posted that. So that's something that is really just something to be aware of. It's actually something that we've had some conversations with some of our customers who have wanted to make sure that they have a good privacy policy on their website, we always recommend you to actually talk to a lawyer about it. Just make sure it's kind of blessed in that. I will show you some ones that other people have done, and you can certainly talk within your network and find privacy policies that people have used. But again, it's a legal compliance. It would be something that we would say, probably should talk to a lawyer about. It's not a bad idea. And a lot of you have lawyers on the board, so bring them in. My second, did you know, is the ADA compliance. Another thing that could be legally an issue is if someone says your website is not ADA compliant. We get this question all the time. My website ADA compliant? Yes, in the sense that all of your ability to do ADA compliance type of stuff is there. However, it's only as ADA compliant as as you guys do a good job updating, putting alt tags in, putting good images that don't have words on them, putting good images that are darkened with lighter rollover text and things like that. So there's a lot of tricks to that. But there's also something we call it an ADA widget. And I'm going to show it to you. That's why I say consider an ADA widget. That is the little circle. You've seen the little blue circle with the person in it? That's an ADA compliance widget that can pop up something for someone who's visually impaired and needs to use that. And ADA stands for Americans with Disabilities Act. I apologize, I didn't say that in the beginning. So it's just being aware of having your website friendly for all disabilities. And that's something, those are things that as you're getting prepared for 2020, 2025, crazy, right? That you're thinking about your privacy law or your privacy statement on your website, your ADA compliance issues, those things. My next one, did you know you can schedule a rotor? So I asked if you changed your rotor recently, but you can schedule it. So those of you who changed it today, the two of you who said I changed it today, hopefully you put it on a scheduler. You scheduled it. So if you don't see the scheduler option, our team can add it, but there is the option to schedule it to unpublish and to publish. And in the holiday season, I think that's very handy if you're going to put up a message that your offices are closed. Schedule it to unpublish after your office is back open, and put something else up, schedule around events, schedule around different things. That is your prime real estate on your site. You need to be intentional on putting really meaningful information there. And that's the first thing people are looking for typically when they go to the site. So rotors can be scheduled. If you don't know how to do it, talk to your account manager, we'll help you through it. Last one, Google Translator. And you know, a lot of you have it, but not everyone. You know the little thing that you click on and you pick a language and your whole site changes out to that language? We can put that in the footer of your website for free. In the header of the website, there's a cost because of programming with the header area and how it morphs to phone, but in the footer, it's free. So before we're done with this today, we'll show you what that looks like. And if that's something that you would like to have, because I really think everyone should have it, that is something you can request from our team and we can add that for you. So those are my did you knows. I feel like I saw questions popping up. Was there anything going on, Jordan? No?
Erin very kindly shared their privacy policy page. So if anyone wanted to get an example, there is one in the answered column in the Q&A if you want to check one out. Again, it's always good to see what others are doing, but as Allison mentioned, this is specific to your organization, so it's always best to also consult with your lawyer. So hopefully you've got a board member that you can check in with.
Okay. Yeah, thanks for sharing, Erin. We appreciate that. All right. So going on about that, security, data security and privacy policies, we really did want to make that an important topic. I think it's one of those things that we tend to like just, not worry about it. But there are lawsuits that happen. There are people who just decide to go after folks. So you want to be very aware that that could happen and you want to avoid that happening to you. So We do recommend a clear privacy policy that's comprehensive, that talks about transparency, all of that good stuff. See the sample that Erin gave. I'll show another sample out there, or look around at organizations around you and get legal advice on that as well. Data is also something about security of your data. So when you have forms on your site, your form data is kept in a separate data server. And in most cases, you have to log in to access the data. Where data security could be something you might want to be aware of is when you email out results. As long as you have a statement about what you're doing and how that's working, you're usually fine. But I had someone the other day create a web form that asked for ACH transfers, and they wanted the routing number, the bank account number, and a web form on the website. Do not do that. That's a no. Those need to be through highly encrypted bank account sites. So just be aware of the things you're asking for and how that data is managed. And if you have questions about your data, let us know. Your basic data stuff, I mean, all of that's behind separate servers. So it's typically fine, but ask questions, check on it, but also just avoid asking those kind of questions that really could be problematic if something was to ever happen, okay? And that's same with the security. So authorized personnel who can access it, you have logins. You as admins, you get to log in and access all of your account website data. So Jordan's going to talk actually about your users. Like, when's the last time you checked to see who has access to the back end of your website? And we can get that updated as well. So there you go. And I will, the things like asking for social security number, as long as you're not emailing that back out to people and you're keeping it in a security area, typically that's going to be fine. But we can have a conversation about that as well. All right. Let's see, Jordan. Oh.
Okay. I'll take over from here. Turnover guide. So this is a resource that we had created last year and sent out. We have updated it just a little bit this year, and we've also created a wonderful kind of annual checklist to do on your website every year that we'll share out as well. But we wanted to spend some time today just reviewing the turnover guide. So if you don't have one, this is what it looks like. We created kind of a template turnover guide that you guys can take and, kind of make your own and definitely add to it. The items that we share within the turnover guide here are definitely more website related, but this is always where you could come in and you could add in other pieces of your organization that would make sense to be in this guide. So some things to make sure you have available are all of your website logins and to know who has a login to your website. So we've got a little area here that says, hey, these are all the logins that we have on the website. You don't necessarily need to put the passwords here, but just knowing who does have access to the site and what level of access they have is a helpful thing. We've got links to our support site. So if you need to request new logins or you need to request that we remove a login, you can do that through a support ticket and our team can help clean those up. If you also don't have this on your website, I recommend having our team set this up. We have a user list or a list of user accounts that we can create that'll show within your admin view up here. So at any point in time, you can see who has an account on the site, and this will help you clean up that list if there's, user accounts here that they're no longer with your organization or they don't really do much with the website anymore. They don't need that login. You can see who they are, and you can let our team know to go ahead and remove those. You'll also be able to see what role they have. So this is very handy not only for those admin, editor, page editor roles, but if you are using any of your secure portals, if you have a board portal or a volunteer portal, you'll be able to see who has that role here too. So you can see who has current access and if you need to add anyone. And then personally, I always think this is so interesting. I love to see when someone last logged into the site too. So you'll get to see that. It's just kind of a fun little piece there.
And that's their username on the left. Those
Oh,
of
yeah.
you who work with folks who create their own accounts for things and they like just think their username's their email and it's simply not, you are going to be able to help people know what their username is because it's that first column right there.
And we will get to volunteer portal. I'll go ahead and mark that as answering live in just a little bit. We're going to talk about board portals, volunteer portals, and all those secure areas here shortly. So if you don't have this set up, you can ask our support team. You can ask them to get a user account view created so that you can see all of the user accounts on your website. So that's the first, again, the first part is all about logins, requesting and removing logins. The next area that goes hand in hand with that are secure areas. And most of you are utilizing some secure areas on your website. But if you didn't know, all of our sites come with up to 3 different secure areas, and you can make them whatever you need them to be. Typically, we see like a board portal or a volunteer portal. Sometimes there's a staff portal, or there's a maybe a review portal for someone that's reviewing web form applications that are coming through. But these are have the ability to be personalized, so you can kind of use them for what you need them. You get 3, and what it is, I have an example here. Is really just an area within your website that's going to be gated. So it's going to require users to have to log into your site with a board login, and that will give them permission only to see these secure pages. So they won't be able to edit the pages. It's just a view only permission. So this is an example of a board secured page we have on our demo site of how you could potentially set up a board portal. This one's got a great RSVP web form for the next board meeting. It has, links to all of the agendas from previous meetings, some important links that you might want, and just information that would pertain more to the board. You could set something up very similar to this for the volunteer portal. Maybe we'll take a look. I think we have a volunteer page as well.
/volunteer.
Thing.
If you're on Monsoon, yeah. So, yeah, I think so. Or allocations, maybe that's it.
Another good example. Or board / what?
I don't know.
I'm calling
Apparently
inaudible here. I went off track from my my examples that I had up here, but just to show some examples of what those secure areas look like. They're really just like a basic page on your site. They're not anything extra fancy or anything additional to what you're used to working with. They're just gated pages, which means they require a login. So if you have secure areas, it's good to note down what those areas are on the site, and then what the credentials are to those areas. And we have people that can go one of 2 ways. We can have one universal username and password for that secure area, which is less secure. So we don't recommend that route because it is less secure, but it is an option. The other option is having each member of that secure area has their own individual login to the site. And the easiest way to manage this is pull up an Excel spreadsheet, type in their username and their assigned password, send us that Excel sheet. We can create all those accounts and then you can manage it there. And then using the new user list, you can see, who has a board secure account and who needs one still. Moving on down, we also have a section here for hosting information. If you're on this webinar, you are a OneEach customer, so OneEach is your website host. So we've got links in here to our website, our support site, and then our knowledge base of support articles and training videos. It's also helpful in here to put who your account manager is. So if you have Christina, Allison, or Chrissy as your account manager, it's helpful to put in their contact information here. So we've got a space here for their name, email, and their meeting link so you can quickly book a meeting. If you don't already know or have your annual costs detailed out, this is a great place to include that as well. If you need help, if you're not sure what that cost is or when your renewal is or what all the services that go into your annual service fee, your account manager can help fill in this area for you. Same with domain management. A lot of you have your domain management with OneEach, but not all of you do. So if you don't, if you're still using GoDaddy for that domain renewal, it's good to put those details here. When is that renewal date? How much is that renewal for? What is the login details to GoDaddy so that you don't let that domain expire, because if that domain expires, your site could potentially go down. So your domain is like our domain is oneeach.com. That's our domain name. So on these websites up here, the domain is monsoondemo.oneeach.org. So you definitely want to make sure that that's not expiring.
So let me make a comment on that, because there's a lot of spam vendors out there who are trying to get your money, and you get a notice in the mail from Domains of America and it says you owe $200 for your domain. That's why this stuff is super important. So hopefully someone would go, that's not our domain host, that's a scam. Because there are a lot of them out there. The other thing I would always say to you, if you ever get anything and you're just not sure, you'll get them for domains, you'll get them for SSL certificates, you'll get them from a variety of different technology things. There's two things that happen. One is, actually it is legit. You do have your domain with Network Solutions and you need to pay the bill, and you don't pay it because you think it's with OneEach, but it turns out it is. Always ask us, because we don't want your site going down. We also don't want you getting scammed and paying a ridiculous amount of money for something that is not legit. So just be aware. And that's why we want you to have this information. Oh, look at that. Happened today. We got a bill from a company saying we have $265 because our domain name is expiring. And you knew that was fraud, right? Ginger, you knew, right? Right? She did. Yeah.
Yeah. And when in doubt, yeah, reach out to your account manager. You can forward the email over. We'll be able to tell you, you know, if it looks like it is kind of a scam or not. Kim, I see your question. Can we transfer our domain hosting from GoDaddy to OneEach? Absolutely, you can. We do include domain management for one domain within your annual service fee. So if you want to keep all of that together with OneEach, so it's all in one space, that's absolutely an option. It's easy to do that. Reach out to your account manager if that's something you'd like to do. We can manage more than one domain for you as well, but there's just an additional cost for any extra domain outside of that, your main one. But again, your account manager can get you details on that. But it is nice because then you don't have to worry about it. We'll take care of always making sure that that is renewed and active for you. Okay, moving down on our turnover guide, this next section is all about website add-ons. So if you are using any supplemental products or additional tools on your website, it's a great thing to have those details listed out here. If you are using an accessibility tool, which I know Allison will demo and show more, it's good to know, when does that tool renew? Do you have a bill for that? And how much is that per year to have that information listed out? Same thing with the image gallery. OneEach has an image gallery that you can subscribe to for $100 annually. You can put your renewal date in here if you are using that image gallery. If you're not, this is a shameless plug that $100 a year is a great deal for images. You can look at our image gallery at any time, images.oneeach.com. We update this pretty regularly, but it's got tons of images in here that are already sized and compressed, so they're not large images. They're already created for your website specifically. So if you're struggling with images on the site, you need help kind of getting some great header images in place on those internal pages, or updating those rotor images, you need some nicer images, this is a great resource out here for you to take advantage of. So if you already are, you can list that information here.
And I'm just going to make this comment too. Be careful about images. There's another legal compliance. You could get a notification from someone if you just grabbed a random image off the internet and you're suddenly going to get sued because you don't have rights to use that image. You got to be very careful. You're taking your own pictures, great. Don't go grab random images off the internet. You can get sued about it. So that's why we think the image gallery is such a great thing, because we have you licensed. You do have to pay for it. It is tied to iStock. We make sure you're covered by the license for those images, so you will not get sued over an image you shouldn't be using. So just keep those things in mind. We're looking out for you guys. We really don't want anyone to get sued, because it's crazy out there what people will do. I'm telling you.
Mm-hmm. Next up is for all of your tracking and analytics that you'll have on the site. So if you are using the Google Suite, Google Analytics, Google Tag Manager, Google Search Console, do you know the login to that? Is it put under someone's email, or was it listed under a admin@ email or a more general email that can be used? Our recommendation, if you're creating these accounts for the first time, don't put it under your personal work email address. Try to put it under a more general email address. That way it can be passed from one person to the next over time as roles change or as different responsibilities need to take over. It's always better to use kind of a general login there. It's a pain to recover a Google Analytics account if it is tied to an email that's no longer active. It is a big pain. I'm not going to sugarcoat that. We've had to walk a few of you through that. It's possible to recover it, but if you can, try and use that generic email address for any of that tracking. So we've got items in here, spaces to fill in information all about the tracking and analytics. You could even add in here some of the tasks that you want to complete or reports that you want to pull on a weekly, quarterly, or monthly basis. If you are using any type of third-party tool, a donation tool, maybe you're using QGive. We have a few of you that are up and running with QGive now. This is a great place to put in all of the information for that third-party tool. Maybe it's Mobile Cause, or we've got a few other donation processors we've seen out there. So this is a great place to store that information so you can always log in and make updates to it. Same thing with volunteerism. If you are using an external platform for volunteer management, this is a great place to again put that information, who they are, how much your service is with them, when it renews, what those login credentials are. And then we did put a place for other, if you have any other type of CRM management that you want to include within this space, you can always add additional tools out there. We carved in a place for social media accounts as well, and we'll update this to X now instead of Twitter. If you have logins to all the social media accounts, do you know what they are? If you do, try and stick them in one spot so that everybody can reference it as needed. And that is the end of the turnover guide. So this is our templated one. We are going to send this out to you all. It's going to come with the email follow-up that you'll get with the webinar recording. We'll put a link to this template turnover guide in there as well. So you can start to fill this out and kind of personalize it for your organization. This is kind of the tool number 1 that we will send you. Feel free to add to it. The second tool that we have created is a annual website checklist. And this is lots of good information to go through at least once a year. Try and take a look at this checklist. Again, you guys will be able to add to this too and make it more personal to your organization. If there's other things that you think should go on there, you can definitely add it. But we wanted to kind of get a checklist in front of you just to help prepare your website for success in 2025 or in the new year. We did split it up into a few sections. This is going to be on the all about the homepage, menus, the content on your website, and then kind of a catch-all miscellaneous category. So we'll walk through some of these, starting with the homepage. We've talked about this a couple times on the webinar already, but have you updated or are you scheduling out your front page rotor images. Like Allison mentioned, this is the first thing users usually see when they come to your website. So make sure that's being updated so they know that you're there, you're on the site, you've got great content that they should be taking a look at. Next item was if you have any sections on your home pages, everyone's theme is a little bit different, but usually there's a section where content should be updating on a more regular basis, like a latest news or an upcoming events, or maybe you have a blog. Make sure that if you have one of those areas on the home page, are your events updated? Do you have everything in there that should be showing on the home page? Have you written a news article recently that you need to push out to the website so that those areas are updating? And then if you have any static content on the homepage, meaning it's not automatically updated by an event date or news article, maybe you have some promo banners on there. Have you updated that content or images if they have images tied to them in a while? Maybe do that on a quarterly basis at least, just to make sure, again, your website's staying fresh to users that are coming in. And then lastly, have you looked at your website on a desktop, tablet, or mobile device? All of our sites, they are mobile responsive, but websites can be a little funky sometimes, or if you have some content that is a little bit long, it's always a good practice to check those views on the different device sizes. If anything looks off, let us know and we'll make sure we get that adjusted. Okay, next section was all about the menu. Have you guys taken a look at your main menu? Are all of those menu links still needed? Sometimes we see sites that have these giant, great big menus. So if you do have a pretty robust menu, it's good to review that at least once a year. Make sure you like the organization and the structure that you have your menu. Remove any links. I also would recommend let's take a look here. Go to our homepage. So this is the main menu. We usually recommend having no more than maybe 6 or 7 of those first tier menu items just to keep things a little more concise. This also helps for styling on mobile devices. So take a look at all of the menu items here. On the back end of your menu too, if you have any menu links that are disabled, so if you have a big section back here, they're all disabled, you can delete those menu links out. Clean up the back end for yourself so that as you're managing your menus, throughout the year, it's easy for you guys to see and manage on the back end as well. And this is my reminder here that if you delete a menu link, you are not deleting the page. You are just deleting the link to it out of your main menu. So you don't have to worry here that you're deleting page content. It's just that link to that page, but you'll still be able to find that page in your content management here. So again, these first couple kind of go through, check all of your menus, review your main menu. If you have a header menu, look at your footer menus. The next one is, have you filled in the description field on all of your menu items? This is a big one, especially for accessibility. And if you didn't know, every menu link has this description field right here. And if this is filled out, it will pop up as a little pop-up when you're hovering over that menu link. So this is great for screen reading tools or ADA accessibility. I usually just copy over the menu link title into that description field. And then when you're looking at your menu and I'm hovering over it, you'll see that little About Us just popped up right there. If I'm hovering over this one, you don't see that pop up until I add it. So this is a really easy thing to do to take a step towards accessibility on your website. So I recommend reviewing all of those menu links and just adding in that description field. Another reminder here, do you have any menu links that are linking to an external site? So are you linking out to a donation platform? Are you linking to a PDF document? If you're linking to anything that is not your website, please make sure you're setting that to open up in a new window so users can easily jump back to your site. And again, just look at your menu from all devices, cell phone, tablet, desktop, pull up your site, click on all your menus, make sure you like how the navigation is looking and that you can get around. Then we've got some content checklists. So again, we've got some recommended pages that we think you should always have on your website, and it's good to check these at least once a year to make sure you like the content. And those are simple things: a privacy policy, about us page, some nice board and staff pages, and a contact us page especially. And then we definitely recommend a donate page on everybody's site. And then these next ones are just items to make sure that you're reviewing the content on your page. Do you have unpublished content on your page that needs to be deleted out of your site? Have you taken a look at every page that you do have published just to check for content edits? If you're using images within your pages, are you filling in the alternative description on that image field? That's another ADA accessible field. I believe we have it required, but if you don't have it required, it's always good to check and put that description in. The other one I'll point out is review your web forms. If you have web forms that are no longer active, please close them on your site, because bots do like to crawl for those forms. They'll try and spam you with a bunch of information there. So if it's not an active web form, go ahead and close it out on your site. And then some miscellaneous checklists. How often are you checking your web analytics? Do you need to set a schedule for this? Are you meeting with your account manager on a quarterly basis? Are there any PDF or Google Forms you can turn into web forms on your site? And then have you created that turnover guide? So we'll get this checklist out to everybody as well, just as a good way to start the year off with a couple tasks to help set you up for success there. Okay, I'm going to jump back to our slideshow. We've got another slide here. Just a reminder, because we are at December 19th already, it is end of year giving time. We just want to put that reminder out there again to please test your payment processors now, test your donation pages now, make a test purchase, and make sure it goes through. You don't want to be scrambling, on December 31st because a donation page isn't working. Prepare now. Consider all of your payment methods. Are you offering multiple ways for donors to give? And are you offering recurring options? So monthly, quarterly, yearly, are you throwing those out there? Just also take a look at your donation pages on cell phone, tablet, desktop, and take a look at the verbiage you have on there. If you had the same image up for Giving Tuesday, maybe change it for end of year giving, just so it's up and refreshed for the donors. Okay, I have been going on a little bit, so I will go ahead and pass it over to Allison now. I'm going to stop sharing and let her pull it up.
I will do that. Okay, so I'll pick up where Jordan left off on that slideshow, and then I'm going to show some screens in just a second. So I'm going to show a little bit more about the items that are listed here, but one of the things we do know is that some of you have a fiscal year that ends in December. A lot of you are July to June, some are April, some are October, whatever. But if you're in budgeting mode, or if you're thinking about these things that we're talking to you about, or if you're thinking in 2025, I should consider adding these things. I want to give you a few pricing and a few little things to think about, maybe take back to your board, have those conversations with. One, if you haven't recently updated your website, you might want to consider a brand new website design. I know a lot of United Ways are going through this right now, so we're with you guys. It's been a process. Regardless, if you're any organization should update their website design every 3 to 5 years. So it does get very stale, and it does become very archaic quickly in technology. ADA widget, we've talked about that. I'm going to show you one in just a second, but that's that little circle. The cost is $490 a year to keep that live on your site. So that is additional to your current website. It's not required, but it is something that could give you peace of mind as far as the ADA rules go. Homepage pop-up. I've got a sample here. I'm going to pull this page up. This has been popular it is a custom programming. We have to program in its one-time cost, $400. It allows you to turn this on and off whenever you need it. Really good for disaster situations, anything that you want to promote. This is a big banquet anniversary celebration that they want to have featured. So just know that that's an option. Image gallery, I know Jordan talked about, it's $100 a year, save you on images. I can't stress that enough. Be careful about copying and pasting images off the internet. Site maintenance, if you ever want to just pay us to do the work, you're like, this is just not my wheelhouse. I'm stressed about the website. I don't, you can send things into One Each. We can build those forms for you. We can do that work for you. And that's $50 an hour of site maintenance. Sometimes some of our customers like to have a bucket of site maintenance ready to go for themselves each year. And then we have this poverty simulator tool. I know a number of you have used it. I'm not going to go into that one now, but if you have interest in that, talk to your account manager. So let's look at a few of those items though. I will mention Google Analytics. I know early on when I asked that question in the beginning, there was quite a few people who said, like, don't know how to access it, don't know what it is. Okay, I'm not going to go in heavy detail, but google.com/analytics is how you get to it. Whether or not you have a login really depends on your organization. Hopefully someone passed that to you in a turnover guide. But it's Google. So typically it's a Gmail account. Usually it's a generic Gmail account, and usually it's the same Gmail account that you would have used for a YouTube account, because that also uses Gmail. Hopefully that's what your organization has done. If there is not one created, to get started with this tracking device that tracks every click and hit and page and all of that good detail stuff, you need a generic Gmail account for your organization. And you can book a meeting with your account manager and we will help you through that process. But you all should be doing this. So if you were one of the ones who said, don't know what it is, haven't done it, I encourage you to make that a goal for 2025, is to start tracking the analytics of your website. How many visitors are coming to my site? Where are they coming from? Are they coming from the chamber sending them? They're clicking a link there. Are they just searching something up? What's the top looked at pages? I had a United Way last year whose top looked at page was around like winter activities for kids, because they were in a snowy area and they had some information out and everyone was looking at it. So then they like leaned into it. So things to know. So Google Analytics, if you don't know much about this, talk to your account manager. All right, here's that screen that we just showed. The United Way of Onslow County, they have a big banquet coming up. This is cool because they can edit it themselves. They can turn it on. They can turn it off whenever you need it. So you don't necessarily always want something popping up. It makes it stand out more if you haven't. That's that one-time $400 cost if that's something that interests you. We talked about new website designs. Here's one of the brand new designs that recently launched for a lot of our United Ways. Trident United Way, who recently launched this. They also have that ADA widget here in the corner. This is what this looks like. It allows you to, so if someone needs that accessibility tool, typically they know how to use it. So they can turn on and off different features based on whatever things they need as far as resetting it and doing those features for the ADA. So something to think about. All right. In addition, I did have their privacy policy up. Here's another one. It's tuw.org. They have a nice privacy policy. Again, we do encourage you to talk to a lawyer about it, but they talk about cookie use and third-party relationships, all of this kind of stuff. So be on the lookout. If you don't have a privacy policy on your page, that's another 2025 must do. Get that privacy policy on your website. I encourage you to really do that. All right. Another sample I'm going to bring up. These guys have all of it. They have a pop-up. They have the ADA widget. Now, they paid a little extra to have it up on the top of their site instead of the footer where it's usually placed. And they also have a Google Translator, which again is free in the footer. On the top, because of programming, is a little bit more. These guys have it in their footer. So this is United Way SWMN, Southwestern Minnesota. This is what it would look like for most of you for free to add to the footer of your site. It will change out to a variety of languages. I believe you can select what languages, but most everyone just does the full one. And anything that are words on the page will adjust to that language. If it's words on an image, those won't adjust because it's an image, but words on a page can adjust. So if you don't have a translator on your site and you'd like one, please put in a support ticket to our team. They'll help you with that. Let's see. And as far as the new branded websites, or if you want a website theme change, talk to your account manager. We'll work with you on that. That's something that does have a cost with it. So we'll talk to you about how that process works and help you with that as well. Okay, let's see. I'm gonna take us out to the end here, I believe. How are we doing on questions, Jordan? We good?
Yeah, I think we're okay right now.
All right, so we do have another poll as we're getting closer to closing this out. And this, take a look at your screen. It should have popped up. Hopefully it popped up on your screen. There are 2 questions here, and we want to know, like, based on what you just heard, what is it you're sitting there going, I'm going to do this? Like, what are you going to take action on? And you can check as many of these as you want. Like, you're going to take care of the privacy policy. You're going to look at the ADA widget, Google Analytics, translator. So we're just curious on what you got out of this today that you're like, definitely want to do these things. Then the second question is about future webinar topics. We've only got January figured out. So Jordan and I and our team need to figure out what the rest of our topics are. We do get a little repeating year after year, but there's always staff turnover and there's always new stuff with every topic. There's always new stuff. So we're curious into what you're interested in. So please, if you're turned your head away, take a look at your computer screen right now, look at that pop-up, let us know what action you think you're going to jump in and start working on, and also let us know what kind of topics that you're most interested in as well. We appreciate the feedback. It helps us make these meaningful. We hope these webinars are meaningful and helpful to you in what we've provided. A lot of you are still checking through those lists. It's nice to see so many people say they're going to do stuff based off of what we said. That's cool. All right. I'm about to close the webinar. I'll give you another second. I know people are winding it up. And a question on the privacy policy, is it okay to have a link to a PDF or should it be words on a page? I would kind of lean into the words on a page because of search engines and readability and the way all of that works. So that you could have a PDF or you could do both, you know, have it as words on a page and have a link if you'd like to download it. So if you want to like go both routes, but I would put the words on a page. Okay, I'm about to close this poll. Let's see what everyone said. Here we go, and I will share those results. Thank you so much for participating. So many of you participated in these questions. So yeah, hey, Jordan, it looks like everyone's going to be working hard. Not too many people testing their payment processor, which means you've recently tested it. That's why you didn't check that, right?
Yes,
okay.
Giving Tuesday was the big one, so.
So yeah, so definitely check on your Google Analytics, check on getting a translator, all of that good stuff. Schedule meetings, schedule your rotors, fantastic. Topics for the future, what's our top one? Web forms, always is. Actually, January is basically about web forms. We kind of are mostly focused on web forms around like an agency application process or an application process or a funding process. So January is actually about web forms. There are more to web forms than that process, but that will be the focus. What were you saying, Jordan? Did you say something?
It looks like events and calendars was the next highest one, so we'll make sure we incorporate that in as well.
Yeah, and the new website designs have this really beautiful setup for the events and calendars with featured events and stuff that I love the way they're looking. So if you're one of those ones who are looking at a new design, that's a piece that's gotten a nice little upgrade, by the way. All right, I will stop sharing and we're winding down. Jordan, is there questions or anything? We good?
It looks like Chrissy's answering a couple of them.
Okay.
Kim, I see your question in there, wanting to see examples of landing pages that are using some of these tools but aren't too busy looking. Let's have you connect with your account manager. We can pull some examples and send them over to you so you can take a look there.
Yeah, let's meet Kim. I'm our account manager.
All
All right, Jordan.
We in November of this year received a couple of awards from an organization called Clutch, and I wanted to call it out here because Clutch, some of you may know, or because you filled out a review for us, but Clutch is an independent review organization. So they are contacted directly by you guys. You reach out to them to fill out a review for one each. We are so grateful for every single review that is filled out. So we just wanted to say thank you because we were very excited to receive some of these awards from Clutch this year as top web developers and top Drupal developers. And it's all in big part thanks to you guys. So we really appreciate anyone that has taken time to review our organization. If you are interested in giving us a review on Clutch, we can get you some more information on that. But a lot of what we do is word of mouth. So this is just very helpful for us in what we do. And we just wanted to brag a little bit because these are very exciting. And also just say thank you so much for the reviews. And we really do appreciate it a lot. And again, if you're looking to leave one, we can get you more information on that as well.
Oh, we got a congratulations.
It is exciting for 2024. It's a
We're
great
proud
way
of
to
ourselves. We work hard.
end the year out. Yeah. So we can go on, I think, to our closing slide now, Allison.
Yeah. Oh, I've got the screen, don't I?
You
I forgot about that.
I'll close this out. Just closing details as always. We do post our webinar recordings on our support site. That we have a webinar section. Everyone is recorded. Give us about 24 hours. We'll have the recording ready to go. We email it out. We post it on our support site. Support.oneeach.com. You can submit a support ticket at any point in time. Our team is there 24/7. So if there are things like that Google Translate in the footer or that user list, so you can see who has user accounts on your site, you can reach out to our wonderful support team there. If you are, one of the items was you need to book some time with your account manager. oneeach.com/Allison, Christina, Chrissy. Those are their meeting links. You can schedule time directly with them. And then just a look at 2025, our webinar schedule. We mentioned we are still planning it out. So we have January planned, February and March to come very soon, but they are always on the third Thursday of the month, same time. So we'll see you again on January 16th. All right.
That's it.
I don't see any other questions in the Q&A, but you do have some time if you want to throw one in there right now. We'll kind of hang out for a minute or two. Otherwise, happy holidays. Thank you so much for joining us for our last webinar of the year. We appreciate seeing all your names in here every month, I should say, not every year.
And we will see you next year. Chrissy, you're not working on Christmas, by the way. I think you need to clear your calendar for that day. Don't let anyone book. Don't let anyone book with you on Christmas. Mine's blocked. Okay. Happy New Year. We'll see you next year. Thank you all very much.
Yeah, thank you.